this has been in many ways your year with the Dream Team and with the certification in the minds of most now as the greatest to ever play the game. A final thought on what this means to you and your team.
Well, I think it means a lot to us. I mean, because we make history. Very few teams have done this. You know, especially when so much parity in the league right now. This is a major accomplishment for the franchise and for the team. And, you know, for me personally, you know, I think it was something that I was looking forward to separate myself from Magic and Bird. They never did it, and I did it. So that makes me, you know, feel special, I believe it.
Congratulations.
Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, you heard him. Michael Jordan, after he won his third championship, a three-peat. I think he was surprised that he won a three-peat, being that it was so much parity in the league. Okay, I'm no scholar. I'm no teacher. I'm no English major. But to me, what he's saying with parity, it was balanced, it was fair, and it was even. It wasn't 5 Hall of Famers on one team. It wasn't 4 Hall of Famers on one team. The 90s was about parity. And before I go any further and debunk the LeBron fans who are complete liars, and the Klutch media complete liars and evil and coward, well, we got to look at Adam Silver. He's kind of coward for letting this go on about all these lies. And, you know, we don't do this. AOH, Sports and Fitness Rant, Scap Attack, Uncommon Sense. These type of guys, don't mean to leave no names out, but we don't do this for Michael Jordan. We don't do this just for money. We're doing it for the legacy of the game, the past players. Because the LeBron fans and the LeBron media has did what? Trash past eras. So we'll talk about this more in a minute, but let's look at some stuff through they say it's the expansion era. It was weak, and pretty much Michael Jordan was given championships and he had better teams. So let's run through these. Let's run through this and make them look like idiots, because it's a real important video. So we're going to go to 93, 91 through 93 all NBAs in all-star games to see if Michael Jordan really had the advantage. 91, if you don't see it, it's going to pop up on your screen sooner or later. If you've been to my channel, you already know. In 91, all NBA, these are the players or the teams that had 2 or more sometimes on their team. So the Jazz, they had 2 players, all NBA. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why the Bulls have a check mark. It's only Michael Jordan. So the Lakers, 2 all NBAs. And I think that's it. So Michael Jordan had no advantage in the all NBA selections. I just kept looking at, like, am I missing Scottie Pippen or something? What's Scottie Pippen? You mean Scottie Pippen got beat out by an old James Worthy? Ain't that what you guys say? In the 91 finals, Worthy was old and broke down? And then he got beat out by a Bernard King? What? He got beat out by a Chris Mullin? Unathletic white guy? Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Where's Scottie Pippen? Oh, that's right. This year he didn't even make an all-star appearance. Isn't this the same year when Michael Jordan won a championship, his first championship, without Scottie Pippen being even 3rd All-NBA? Let me look again. Am I missing something? What? Huh? Maybe you guys can tell. Pippen. Where you at, Pippen? So Pippen is not on here. So Jordan had to go against 2 Hall of Famers with the Lakers, and then he had to go against, we'll see in a minute, 2 All-Stars with the Lakers, 2 All-Stars, 2 Hall of Famers, and 2 All-NBAs. Oh, goodness. Not to mention AC Green and Byron Scott, who already won a few championships. 92 All-NBA. Michael Jordan was in this expansion era, and it was easy, and he had Pippen, and everything was given to him. So we had the Warriors right here with 2 All-NBA players, the Jazz with 2 All-NBA players. Chicago finally has 2 All-NBA players, and the Cavs have 2 All-NBA players. Looks like parity to me. And why I did All-NBA is just the fact that if I started with the All-Stars, you guys would be like, man, that ain't the cream of the crop, man. That's just popular vote. That's what they would say. But at the same time, they'll sit up there and talk about all of LeBron's All-Star appearances. But at the same time, when you say Kyrie Irving, Chris Bosh, who is it? I think Ray Allen, and Dwayne Wade all have more All-Star appearances than Scottie Pippen. More All-Star appearances than Scottie Pippen, a guy who couldn't even make an All-Star team once he left the Bulls, right? Once he left the Chicago Bulls, he could not get on an All-Star team. But yet Michael Jordan came back and got on 2 in a row after taking 3 years off. That's weird. That's kind of weird to me. And what we'll do at the end, we'll show you that LeBron actually played in what you would call an expansion era without even adding any teams. So let's look at this. 1993 All-NBA. The Jazz have 2. The Bulls have 2. Pippen, what are you doing on the 3rd team? Goodness gracious. The Cavs have 2. Who else? And New Jersey Nets have 2. Yeah. Michael Jordan just had this huge advantage. And as we go through this, we're going to get to the All-Star selections in a minute from 91, 92, and 93. So as we show you that Michael Jordan didn't have any advantage, wasn't given nothing, but they had to go out there and earn it and go into the gym and work hard. Yeah. I don't think LeBron had to do any of these things. And I might do a part 2 right here from 96 to 98 because we're going to look at those All-NBA teams and we're going to look at the All-Star teams. It show you that Michael Jordan, again, didn't have any advantage and wasn't given anything. And it's always the opposite. Either he's always has less NBA teammates or less All-Star teammates than other teams, or just the same. Just the same. Just the same. Because what Magic and Bird did, if Michael did it, have 4 Hall of Fame teammates, 5 Hall of Fame teammates on one team in their primes, they'll be quick to disqualify Michael Jordan real quick from a GOAT debate. If Michael Jordan went and built super teams and had 4 Hall of Famers on one team, or 3 Hall of Famers on one team, it would be a disqualification. In fact, after the three-peat, Jordan could have been happy. It never came back and had, his stats, because they were huge at that point. They were like ridiculous. He brought him down by coming back the first time. He could have had the 3 MVPs. No, what he had? I think he had 3 MVPs. If I'm not mistaken. 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, and 3 championships. Hell, he could have came back and just came back and played, and not went for really worked hard to get any more championships, and could have called that the day. So 91 All-Star game, the East. Let's just go down. We're not going to read this whole thing. You can see it. So you got the Pistons. They got 2 players. The Bulls have 1 player, just in case you didn't know. The Celtics have 3 players, even though Bird didn't play. Philly has 2 players. Milwaukee has 2 players. So this is just on the East. We're going to go to the West in a minute. So where did Michael Jordan have this advantage in 1991? Pippen didn't make the All-Star team. He didn't make All-NBA. Where did Michael Jordan have this advantage? Looks like parity to me. If I'm not mistaken, I remember Bird, McHale, and Parrish always making the All-Star team together. Worthy, Magic, and Kareem making an All-Star team together. That's what I remember. Do you remember that? So let's look at the West. You have the Lakers with Magic and Worthy, 2 All-Stars. Phoenix Suns, Kevin Johnson and Tom Chambers, All-Stars. Golden State, Chris Mullin and Tim Hardaway, 2 All-Stars on one team. We all know this is official. It's all the time, brother. So the All-NBA or the All-Star team, John Stockton and Karl Malone. Did they make the most All-NBAs and the most All-Star games of any 2 players in NBA history? Portland, you got Clyde Drexler, Kevin Duckworth, and Terry Porter, all on one team. You have, and that's it. Are you serious? Remember, I can put up the video if you want me to. Michael Jordan was supposed to get squashed if he made it to the finals against Portland. Because if you remember the clip, after they won the championship, they said that Portland, they didn't think the Bulls were going to make it here. They said something about Portland. The West was the strongest, and that Portland was supposed to make it to the finals, but the Lakers beat them, and people thought that the Lakers were just going to, I forget the word, drown them out or something like that to the Bulls. So this is 9 finals appearances. You had all that talent, all that experience. Byron Scott, A.C. Green, James Worthy, and Magic Johnson. And Lottie Divac was no slouch. This season was incredible. And like I told you guys before, what happened? This Bulls team, remember, we can't talk about stuff like this. It just goes way out the GOAT debate. It's about what, LeBron beating this supposedly greatest team of all time, right? So we can't talk about Michael Jordan stopping 2 dynasties. two dynasties from happening. Remember, the Lakers won. They was already a dynasty. They had already won 3 in the early 80s. In the late 80s, they won 87 and 88 and was back in the finals in 91. So if they would have won that, it would have been 3 and 5 years. Right? So the Pistons, back in the Eastern Conference Finals, they were looking to three-peat and build a dynasty. So if you beat the Pistons and stop their dynasty, you got another dynasty to prevent. Goodness gracious. If we could say stop the three-peat dynasty from happening by sweeping them, and then went to the championship game and stopped what? We'll just say a dynasty from happening and beat them 4-1. Because we all know what? Either way it went. If Michael Jordan would have lost to the Pistons and the Pistons would have won the championship, that would have been on Michael Jordan's head forever. You never would have heard the end of it. Oh, the Pistons put a dynasty on Michael Jordan's head. And then you got, if the Lakers would have won it, man, the Lakers put a dynasty on Jordan's head. He couldn't beat Magic without Kareem. Why was that? Why was Magic beating everybody else without Kareem then? I just want to know that. Why was that happening? So let's look at the 92 All-Star game. What we got right here? This is the East. So we got the Pistons with 3 All-Stars. Right? Chicago Bulls with 2 All-Stars. And let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know this. The only reason why Pippen got in this game is why? Because Larry Bird was hurt. He wasn't going to be an All-Star. What I can tell you, too, Pippen would have been in big trouble if Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins would have not got hurt. I don't know how many All-Star teams he was going to make. And that's why he wasn't on the 91 All-Star team. So you got the Celtics, I think this year, with 2. You had the Cavaliers, if I ain't mistaken, 1, 2. Yeah, the Cavs got 2 this year. We went through them. And the Hawks had 2. So again, that's what I'm telling you. I said either Michael Jordan was at a disadvantage in all NBA or All-Star teammates, or it was equal. Because it was parity. Nobody else. I don't know where Grant was. You guys said Grant was this great player. And before we look at the West for 92, I might as well just do that video, right? This same video, but 96, 97, 98. And it's going to come to the same conclusion that makes LeBron fans look like the idiot, evil liars that they are. About the expansion era, about Jordan was playing nobody. If he was playing nobody, he didn't have the advantage. I can tell you that. So let's look at the West in 92. Magic Johnson, we'll just say you guys can look at this. The Lakers have 2. Let me see. Golden State has 2. Of course, the Jazz have two. The Phoenix Suns have two. And the Rockets have two. Yep. The Rockets have two. So what I was going to say is, before we go to the 93 All-Star team, before people say, oh, Michael Jordan had a 96 stacked team with all these Hall of Famers and blah, 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 we could do a whole video on that. It's just, I try to tell you all the stuff that they tell the LeBron fans. It's really the opposite. And I'm going to do a whole video on that one day. Everything they're trying to tell you about Michael Jordan, it's the opposite most of the times. And it's what LeBron did. So when Michael Jordan came back in that 95 season, what happened? Who was there? Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen, and I think, wasn't Luke Longley there, if I ain't mistaken? I want to say one more name. But Pippen had those same players in 95. And guess what? They was dropping all the way down to the damn 6th seed. It could have been lower by the time the season was over, before Michael Jordan came back with 18 games. And I'm not sure if Ron Harper was on the 94 team. I had to check. But we all know he had Kukoc. We all know he had Horace Grant. And got beat in the second round? Jordan left the same team, but they added Kukoc. And they got beat in the second round because what happened? Pippen couldn't raise his play. He couldn't get to 25 points per game, 27 points per game. He basically stayed with the same stats. Maybe a couple more assists, a couple more rebounds. But he couldn't put up those type of points like that, man. He didn't have that type of game. So 93 All-Star game in the East. These Detroit Pistons, they were done. You have the Pistons. They have two players. The Bulls, two players. The Cavs, three players. Three players. Again, either Michael Jordan was at a disadvantage as far as talent on his team, or it was even. And let me make this point real quick. It does matter in the long run as far as, your career and what you became. But when we talk about 91, 92, 93, Scottie Pippen, one All-Star appearance. What was he? 2 All-NBAs? So, what are we talking about? A lot of these guys on here had the same damn thing. The difference was what Michael Jordan wanted to do. He didn't have to play against 5 Hall of Famers. It was parity. It was fair. And, what Bird and Magic did in the 80s, they did what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to win. Because they had the advantage. When you have the advantage, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win. Can't say the same for all guys. That meltdown and choke. Because just because you got the advantage, you're still playing professional ball, and these guys want to knock your head off. They want to take home your trophy. They want to take home your gold medal. They want to tell their kids and their children, their grandchildren, and have stories of beating you. Even role players like Iguodala, Bruce Bowen, and all the role players that rolled up LeBron, even what do you call it? International plumbers. They all have these stories. How they destroyed LeBron. How about Curry and Durant? Then being in college and maybe high school at one time. Having the dream of coming in and taking LeBron's candy. You think that Michael Jordan didn't have to deal with this? You think Michael Jordan... Look, these players were getting more skilled, more faster, bigger, could jump higher every year that was coming out of college. I mean, out of high school, into college, out of college, into the pros. You don't think they want to smack it to Michael Jordan and say, yeah, I beat Michael Jordan in the championship game? Even when he was old. You don't think they wanted to do that? Of course they did. But he made sure it didn't happen. He was winning championships when he was old or older with older guys. He didn't go get younger guys and was winning that second three-peat with younger guys. Man, let me hey, Pippen, Harper, Rodman, y'all got too many miles, man. I'm gonna need some young guys. Come on, Peyton. Come on, Hardaway. Come on, Larry Johnson. No. So the 93 All-Star game, the West. Of course, Utah has 2. Portland, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they had 3 this year. No, Portland had 2. Phoenix has, just wanted to make sure, 2. The Spurs have 2. Golden State has 2. Where was Michael Jordan with this big advantage? Still trying to figure it out. So that's it for that. And we can do part 2 and go to 96, 97. But it doesn't get no better for the LeBron fans when we go to 96, 97. It doesn't get any better. I think it gets worse. These are the lies about this expansion era. They can't take that Michael Jordan won a 3-peat, stopping 2 dynasties in back-to-back series. You didn't stop a dynasty in the first round or in the second round. The Eastern Conference Finals swept them, and in the finals stopped the dynasty from happening. Swept them. It just wouldn't stop, would it? It just wouldn't stop. If Isaiah had won a dynasty on Michael Jordan's head, in a 3-peat dynasty, if Magic would have won a dynasty on Michael Jordan's head, you never would have heard the end of it. And I know what they're gonna say, man. Well, you know, they had a dynasty anyways, man, in the early '80s. Mike wasn't there. Mike wasn't there. He wasn't there. He wasn't there for all those championships. If you miss one, you wasn't there for the dynasty. And how are you going to stop a dynasty as a rookie? Come on, man. Unless you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you come in playing with Kareem? Okay. Maybe. So this is what it is. And we all know when the expansion era happened, it was LeBron. Without adding teams, he went and played with 2 other franchise players. Then he got Ray Allen from the East too. Eventually, I mean, how many other guys did he get from that East? I'm not sure. As far as like the role players and the bench players. So That's not parity. And then he did the same thing when he went to Cleveland. Kevin Love, I know he came from the West, but he still had Kyrie Irving. Both of these guys were top 10 players at the time. And some could say top 5. So where was the parity? Golden State, they had no accolades. Go look at their accolades in 2015. Nothing compared to Love, LeBron, and Kevin Love. So I'm going to say it again. The way Adam Silver has conducted himself as a commissioner is real cowardly. You're letting the league get tore down by a 4-6 loser, a flopper, a team hopper, a guy with no positional skills. A league that they put you in so you can move it forward. A past era league, if they didn't do the things that they did, you wouldn't even have a job. And you would let this go on in your league? Let these guys literally lie about your league. It's still your league. Even though you're in the present, it's still your league that was in the past. So, yeah, LeBron fans, they're all cowards, and Klutch Sports, they're cowards. Because you see Michael Jordan, it was parity. He wasn't giving nothing. He didn't have no advantages. Tell me what you think.